I have at least 40 gigabytes of gameplay footage, and I'm pretty sure at least 15 gigabytes of those clips are just me falling off my horse. So don't take this video as overly negative. That's not my intention, even if it may come across that way in some places. I'm just going to try my best to break down how I feel about Red Dead Redemption 2 over the next few minutes. And if you disagree, that's totally cool, you do you. Fortnite was the game of the year for 2018, that's cool, I'm never going to say that you're wrong. You have your opinion and I have mine. But after spending upwards of 90 hours of the title, I can honestly say that I've had enough of Red Dead Redemption 2. The achievements, the slow progression, the lackluster and the length of this title have truly worn me down. In a year where I can honestly say that I've had more fun playing Far Cry 5 and the brilliant Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Red Dead Redemption 2 just doesn't feel appealing enough for me to return to. And with the lackluster and, well, with the poor online that's currently available, the game's just not fun. And you know what sucks the most? I feel like I've nowhere near finished it. In the original title, I slogged through all of the repetition of the countless cow-herding missions in order to get to the excellent endgame, but the design of Red Dead Redemption 2 has you missing countless events if you decide to actually follow the story through to the end. Countless missions, bounties and side activities are completely missed just because I actually wanted to progress with the story, and instead of dicking around the same camp that I did for the 15th time that day. Now there's a reason why people have even started calling the game Red Dead Redemption Chapter 2, as it seems like you're almost punished for progressing with this title beyond that foremented chapter. Not to mention the last few achievements that can very easily be missed by not spending more time around certain parts of the game. I even have friends who have been completely locked out of certain achievements, like the one for completing each honor story mission or completing a companion activity in each of the camps. Now, as a completionist, I tend to look into these achievements before really getting stuck into the game, and I in fact have completely missed the achievements Errand Boy and Friends with Benefits, two achievements to do with companions and activities in the main camp that you end up being put into. And to put it frankly, that really does suck. That really sucks. Now luckily I do have a few auto saves here and there and a few manual saves that I will be able to revert back to, but the feeling of having to replay this entire game, and I haven't even begun to talk about the whole gold medal system that they've now added to the Red Dead and Grand Theft Auto system. So are achievements the primary reason why I didn't get too into Red Dead Redemption 2? Just because they're kind of difficult to keep on track of? Or keep on top of? No. Well, yes, partly no, but not entirely. I mean, when it comes time to really break down the game as a whole, it's very difficult for me to take a look at everything and start pointing out positives over the negatives. Well, I do enjoy the gameplay. Though glitchy and somewhat repetitive, I really didn't feel bogged down by certain mechanics like shooting. Some people even listed the shooting as one of the worst things about the title, and I definitely disagreed. I love the way that they've taken elements on Max Payne 3 and basically mixed it into the Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto style of gameplay. There's several battles that I took part in where I actually found myself diving into cover like I was playing Max Payne, and not so much being punished for it, but I mean, I kind of made my own fun with that. Now when it comes down to breaking down the positives and negatives themselves, I found myself comparing this to the first title on more than a couple occasions, and I honestly think this comes down to the mood and the feeling of the game. Whereas in the first title you start off as a man broken, trying your best to put yourself together in what seems like a broken world that surrounds you, Arthur's journey is completely different when compared to John's journey in the first game. Whenever I found myself pressed for an opinion during the early hours of the gameplay, I found myself answering with the same answer each time. I'm waiting for that moment to hit me of realization. And that moment was found in the original Red Dead when you left the cabin for the first time after waking up from a night of riding around town on your horse taking care of business and hearing the rain falling from the sky for the first time landing on the roof atop of you. It was a beautiful moment that I rarely find in video games and can simply be called quiet time. Now Red Dead Redemption 2 on the other hand was full of quiet time, just the wrong type. The long journeys from point to point where I would literally put my controller down and walk into the kitchen and make a sandwich or do something else with my time, then just wait for my character to arrive. Now, obviously, I eventually unlocked fast travel, but that doesn't change the fact. This wasn't something that I ever found myself experiencing in the first title. Nonetheless, that moment of realization did hit me eventually after Chapter 5. Now, slight spoilers. During Chapter 5, you find yourself ending up in a foreign place, away from home, and eventually return home to where you started. After this long journey, something feels different. You're tasked with heading from the very bottom of the map to partway up the map, nearby the top. And on your journey, a piece of music begins to finally play. A smile crossed my face, and it reminded me of the same type of moment that takes place in Red Dead Redemption 1, when John Marston, for the first time ever, makes his way into Mexico across the border. It's a quiet moment with nothing but the sound of your horse galloping, wind blowing, and the music playing. It really meant more in Red Dead Redemption 1, as you actually had to pay attention to where you was going, and you were in this new foreign land for the very first time. You found yourself kind of hooked and interested in your destination, whereas in Red Dead Redemption 2 it was just another journey that I held back on A whilst hammering the back button to get back into the cinemation mode, or the cinematic mode even, cinemation. Now to touch on the medal system, it was a system that was first introduced in the Ballad of GOTY, and what it basically does is it adds tiny little subtasks to the game. So it was also featured in Grand Theft Auto 5, and as I say, Ballad of GOTY. Basically what you have to do is keep your shots above a certain number, keep your kills above a certain number, get a certain number of headshots, that kind of thing. And in the Ballad of GOTY, it was something that was introduced, and it was fairly fun to mess around with. It wasn't too great, it wasn't too distracting, but in Red Dead Redemption 2, every single time you finish a mission, you're actually tasked with taking a look at how you did on the mission that just passed. And if you're a completionist like I am, you find yourself wanting to redo the missions that you've already done. Now on paper that sounds nice and easy, and it sounds like something that you could do later on in the game. So let's say you do the very first mission, you find it a little difficult, you want to go back later when you've updated your skills and your guns and all this kind of stuff. When you do eventually find time to go back to playing through the mission, whichever mission you decide to choose, you find that you actually don't have any of your guns. You don't have your horse with you, you don't even have your beard for some strange reason. When you attempt to replay a mission, you are actually given the worst guns in the game, it feels like. All of your skills are completely worn down, you don't have your extended health bar, if that even existed, you don't have your extra stamina and those kind of things. Now, right now, as of talking, we're in late December, and I honestly feel like that is a bug. That feels like a glitch. That does not feel like something that you should have to put up with when you want to go back and replay an old mission. But unfortunately right now that is something that takes place. Now what that does is make the mission replay option completely useless, and there's really absolutely no reason whatsoever to even bother replaying a mission in Red Dead Redemption 2 because you are immediately handicapped. So as a completionist, touching on that little line again, I am going to have to play through Red Dead Redemption 2 from the start all the way through to the end, because that's the only way that I can actually get any gold medals in any of the missions. I have to literally know exactly what that mission holds and go into the mission instead of going through blind just for fun. I legitimately have to go into the mission knowing how many headshots to get, knowing the optimal route to take, and to me that really sucks. It really blows. So it's very easy to kind of look at the points that I've put forward in this video and go, well, if you weren't such an achievement whore, maybe you'd fucking enjoy this game. And the fact that I wanted to finish the game and the fact that I pushed forward in so many of the missions should go to show you that I actually did enjoy this game and the time that I spent playing it, to the point that I chose to push forward through some of the early chapters because I really did want to see how the story ended. I didn't want to hang around and do all of the hunting missions. I didn't want to hang around and do all of the fishing missions. I actually wanted to play through this game and see where I ended up. So to go, well, yeah, you're an achievement whore, you ruin the game for yourself by staying focused on these achievements. Hey, surprise! Actually ruined the game for myself by not paying attention to the achievements that were present in the game. So it's kind of a really weird and kind of wacky way that has actually turned out for me. Yeah, so I feel like I have a lot to do on Red Dead Redemption 2. For those wondering, I am literally 82% through. I'm in the middle of the first prologue that is in the game. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Red Dead Redemption 2. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be back in January.